Crisis.
Xeno Crisis is a run-and-gun co-op game created by Bitmap Bureau for the Sega Genesis/Mega Drive consoles. Released in October of 2019, a full year later than its planned release per its Kickstarter page, Xeno Crisis is finally available for both modern platforms and the Sega Genesis/Mega Drive. Ports will also hit other retro consoles such as the Sega Dreamcast and the SNK, Neo Geo Arcade, and home consoles. Yes, that includes the Neo Geo CD. This review will concentrate on the 32 megabit or 4 megabyte if you prefer Sega Genesis and Mega Drive version of Xeno Crisis. I purchased this game with my own funds, and this review is based on my honest thoughts on it. First, let's talk about the price. On Bitmap Bureau's website, there are a few options that range from a $20 ROM file to a $70 complete in-box package. Sandwiched between these options is a cartridge-only tier at $40. All versions are multi-region, PAL, NTSC, NTSCJ, so you'll mostly be choosing which artwork suits your taste and budget. I chose the complete in-box North American version with the modern styling as pictured here. The cover is reversible, so what you'll really be choosing from is the regional artwork. With my order, Bitmap Bureau also provided the ROM file, manual in PDF format, and the soundtrack to the game by Savage Regime. These are nice bonuses that allow for unprecedented freedom to play your game anywhere that you like without the need of a Sega Nomad. The physical game includes a Genesis-style clamshell box with a hang tab, 20-page semi-gloss color manual, and a beveled cartridge with a label sticker that was just a tad too small for the label portion of the shell. The plastics used felt solid and authentic to the original Genesis/Mega Drive releases from long ago. A neat little bonus was the Xeno Crisis branded postcard included in my package. Overall, I'm pleased with the presentation, even with a slightly imperfect label. Onto the game itself. Upon booting the game, it boots up to a splash screen featuring Bitmap Bureau's logo, followed by a language selection screen with 8 options. The title screen welcomes the player, with 1 and 2 player choices as well as the option screen. 1 and 2 players being self-explanatory, let's dive into the option screen, which allows players to choose difficulty, listen to music and samples from the game, change their controls, and finally choose their language in case they picked the wrong option prior. The menu gives players 4 slightly altered layouts, 2 for 6-button controllers and 2 for 3-button controllers. The game plays differently depending on which option you choose, so choose wisely. With that said, Xeno Crisis may remind you of Smash TV blended with Alien Syndrome with a dash of Resident Evil thrown in. Unfortunately, the controls take some getting used to, regardless of which option the player chooses. This is because this style of game is best suited to twin sticks, one for moving and of course one for shooting. Unfortunately, this was never officially an option for the Sega Genesis, so Bitmap Bureau's solution for this with the 6-button controller is to use the A, B, X, and Y buttons as a makeshift second directional pad. This leaves C for dodge roll and Z for grenades. The 3 buttons option simply has grenade, shoot, and roll commands, which means that once you start shooting, you're committed to that direction, in effect strafing until you stop to change direction. Neither is a perfect solution and takes some getting used to, which boggles my mind as to why customizable controls aren't an option. Using something like an 8-bit DOE dongle, players have a ton of options that could be better used for twin stick style options. Part of the difficulty in this game is fighting with the controls, and your fingers get tangled between using 4 buttons as a D-pad and trying to dodge and shoot grenades. It can be somewhat overcome depending on the player, but customizable controls would have greatly helped. As a single player campaign, this game is tough, even on easy mode. Expect to die a lot as you blast hordes of enemies that come from all directions. As a Genesis game, I'm impressed by how much this game tosses at players without a single hint of slowdown. Even with 2 players, 8 enemies, items spawning, hostages, and weapons fire all over the place, the game maintained its silky smooth frame rate. That said, the sprites are a bit on the small side. However, they are well animated, detailed, and full of personality. There is no HUD on the Genesis version, so in its place, you'll get timers and counters that appear around your character when the weapon is low on time or ammo. Bosses are large, with attention to details such as the first boss's eyeball that tracks your character as he or she moves around the screen. Dog tags are the currency of this game. They'll randomly spawn throughout the levels, and the more that you pick up, the more that you can upgrade your character's attributes. Pick up enough dog tags and you can even buy extra continue. As the male and female marine protagonists of this game differ slightly, upgrading their stats becomes a necessity in order to successfully finish the game. Upgrade as much as you can, since stage 3 is a huge leap in difficulty from stages 1 and 2. Even better, bring a friend along, if possible, since 2 players have the option to tag their friends to revive them. A welcome option. There are 7 areas in the game, many which I have yet to visit myself due to my struggles with the game's difficulty. Luckily, Xeno Crisis falls into that category of tough but fun games like Ghouls and Ghosts, Contra, and Metal Slug. Like those games, the 10 available weapons ranging from flamethrowers and spread shots to homing guns can really make the game fun. Unfortunately, those weapons are limited to about 20 seconds before you lose them. Health items also appear, but expect them to be sparse. I'm happy to say that the music is some of the best that I've heard out of the Genesis/Mega Drive, and the sound effects are crystal clear. I have no complaints in this department. Given the limitations of this generation of consoles, the quality is superb. For those that find the game tough, there is a cheat menu that allows for level select, unlimited lives, weapons, and more. I'll link it in my description. There is also a special backer menu where Kickstarter backers get a few extra options of their own. I also want to discuss compatibility in this game. I plugged the cartridge and played it on an original Model 1 Genesis, a Super Retro Trio, the Analog Mega SG, and even the Retron 5, and the game works without issues. Well, maybe one issue. The Retron 5 sees Xeno Crisis as an unknown game since it's not in its known database. Otherwise, it plays as expected. EverDrive MD and Mega SD flashcard owners should also be happy to know that the ROM file works just fine on them. I tried various combinations of flashcards and consoles, and the game was playable on everything. Overall, is the game worth your money or even worth playing? The answer is a resounding yes. In addition to producing a new game for an old console, Bitmap Bureau has created a finely crafted game that's simply fun to play and incredibly challenging. Far more than just a homebrew, Xeno Crisis can proudly go toe-to-toe with many official releases during the lifetime of the Genesis. I can definitely understand that some may be put off by the high cost of a physical cartridge, but the ROM option is fairly priced, and I highly recommend that you support the developers by legitimate means. The parts used in this game are much better than cheap AliExpress repros, and it shows. It's just a shame about the label being slightly too small. In essence, grab a controller and a friend, because this game is a definite recommend.